Welcome back to another video in the CKA series, guys. So you have seen the headlines, right? AI can now write its own code. Should you be worried? Everything you look, someone is talking about AI changing IT. Companies are laying off people, software engineers are worried, DevOps engineers are worried too. Cloud engineers are worried as well.
I can't believe how fast this is moving.
Are any of our jobs actually safe?
And Kubernetes engineers are probably wondering if AI can write YAML, understand logs, troubleshoot problems, why would a company need me?
If AI can write YAML and troubleshoot, why need me? And honestly, I think that's a fair question. It can write code and explain errors. So yes, the fear is real.
Because AI is really getting good at it. And it can write code, it can create Kubernetes YAML, it can look at an error message and explain what exactly went wrong. It can read the documentation, it can even suggest commands to fix a problem. And we have already seen companies reduce their workforce while saying AI and automation are part of the reason. So yes, the fear is real. But I think there's another part of the story that isn't getting nearly enough attention. While everyone is looking at shiny AI applications, there is something happening underneath them.
AI needs infrastructure, lots of it. Servers, GPUs, storage. As AI, it gets more complicated. This makes infrastructure experts even more valuable.
AI needs infrastructure, lots of it. Servers, GPUs, storage, networking, containers, and Kubernetes. And as AI gets bigger, the infrastructure gets more complicated. So here's the interesting part. The same technology that's making some IT tasks easier could actually make people who understand the infrastructure more valuable than ever.
AI can write code and create YAML. It can explain errors and read documentation. Companies are already reducing their workforce. Why would they need me? If AI does it all, why would a company need me?
And that's what I want to talk about in today's video. Because you are learning Kubernetes right now, if you are preparing for the CKA, if you are learning Linux, networking, cloud, and DevOps, I don't think you are learning skills that AI is making useless. I think you are building the foundation that AI itself is going to need in the future, or it's needing it right now. And by the end of this video, you will understand why I believe that. And I'll also explain why I'm building this entire CKA series on this channel, Cyber Ravindra. Welcome back, guys. Let's be honest. When you see AI generate a Kubernetes manifest in seconds, it's easy to think, why am I spending hours learning this now?
AI is good at doing tasks, but that isn't understanding the system. Where should this pod run? How much CPU? What if that node fails? Now we're getting into engineering, and that's a very different problem.
You might ask AI, create a deployment, and it does. Create a service, done. Create an ingress, done. Why is my pod pending? Here are the 5 possible reasons. It can even explain Kubernetes concepts better than some documentation. So what's left for us then? That's where we need to make an important distinction. AI is getting very good at doing tasks, but doing a task isn't the same as understanding the system. Imagine you ask AI, create a Kubernetes deployment for my application, and it gives you the YAML. But then you ask, where should this pod run? How much CPU should it get? How much memory? Should it run on an SSD node, or should it stay away from another pod? What happens if this node fails? How many replicas do we need? And should those replicas run on different nodes? What happens when the cluster runs out of resources? What happens when the network breaks? What happens when the application suddenly gets 10 times more traffic? Now we are getting into engineering, and that's a very different problem. Here's an example that I like for better understanding of this problem. Think about AI as a massive building. Everyone walks into the lobby and sees this incredible fountain right at the center of the building. It's beautiful, it's expensive, everyone's taking picture of it, and everyone talks about it. That, my friends, is AI. That's what we see. Chatbots, AI agents, image generation, code generation, AI assistants. But behind the fountain, inside the walls, there are thousands of pipes, pumps, electrical systems, cooling systems, water systems, control systems, and nobody talks about them. Until something breaks and fountain
what's going on with
stops.
the fountain?
Then suddenly,
Nobody
the
cares
plumbing
about the
becomes the
plumbing
most
until the
important
fountain
thing in the
stops.
building. AI is similar. The AI application is what everyone sees, but just underneath it is a massive amount of infrastructure. Servers, GPUs, networking, storage, containers, load balancers, databases, monitoring, security, and increasingly, Kubernetes. AI doesn't magically run itself. Someone has to build the infrastructure. Someone has to deploy it. Someone has to decide where workloads run. And someone has to make sure expensive GPUs aren't sitting idle. Someone has to make sure applications stay available all the time. And someone has to troubleshoot it when something breaks. And that's where Kubernetes engineers come in.
The AI application is only what we see. The infrastructure underneath is what makes it possible.
Let's make this very simple. Imagine a company has hundreds of servers. Some has GPUs, some has a lot of memory, and some has fast storage. Some of them are in different locations. Now imagine thousands of workloads competing for those resources. You can't have an engineer sitting there saying, okay, you go to server 17, you go to server 23, and you go to server 42. That doesn't scale. You need a system that can make those decisions automatically.
To manage scale, Kubernetes intelligently orchestrates workloads. It analyzes requirements, resources, and constraints, automatically placing each application on the perfect server.
That's one of the things Kubernetes does. Kubernetes looks at the workload, looks at the available resources, looks at the rules you have given it, and decide where the workload should run. And that's exactly what we are learning throughout this CKA series. We are learning how Kubernetes makes decisions, how it schedules pods, how it manages resources, how it handles networking, and how it handles storage, how it scales applications, how it deals with failures, how it keeps applications available. And that's why I keep saying, don't just memorize Kubernetes commands. Understand what Kubernetes is actually doing under the hood. Because when AI gives you a command, you need to know whether that command makes sense. When AI gives you a YAML, you need to know whether that YAML will actually work for your production workload. And when AI gives you a troubleshooting answer, you need enough knowledge to say, wait a minute, that doesn't look right to me. And this is probably the most important part of this entire video. AI is incredibly powerful, but AI has its limits. It can give you an answer that looks completely correct, but still be wrong. It can give you YAMLs that looks perfect, but doesn't match your cluster. It can tell you to change something without understanding the side effects that change will have somewhere else. And that's because AI doesn't sit inside your production environment, experiencing the problem the way you are. You do. You know your application. You know your environment. You know your business requirements. And most importantly, you can see what actually happened. That's why fundamentals matters. If you understand Kubernetes, AI becomes your assistant. If you don't understand Kubernetes, AI becomes something you blindly trust. And those are two very different things. Therefore, I don't think the future is AI versus engineers. I think the future is engineers with AI versus engineers without AI.
Assistant, locate the bottleneck in cluster 4.
Think about what happens when you combine the two. You understand Kubernetes, AI can help you write the YAMLs faster. You understand networking, AI can help you investigate an error faster. You understand Linux, AI can help you find commands faster. You understand security, AI can help you analyze a problem faster. And you understand the architecture, AI can help you build things faster. The AI becomes your force multiplier. Instead of spending hours searching for the right command, you can actually spend that hour understanding the real problem. And that's a huge advantage. Now let's bring this back to Kubernetes. Throughout this series, we have been learning ways to control what Kubernetes does. Taints and tolerations, node names and node selectors, and now we just covered node affinity, pod affinity, and pod anti-affinity. These might just look like more YAMLs you need to memorize for the CKA, but they are actually solving real problems. Let's say you have a database that needs an SSD. You don't want Kubernetes putting that database onto just any node. You want it on a node with the hardware it needs. That's where node affinity comes in. Or maybe you have an application pod that talks constantly to a database pod. You may want those two workloads sitting close together. That's where pod affinity comes in. Or maybe you have multiple replicas of an important application. You don't want them to be sitting on the same node, because if that node is down, you could lose all of them at once. That's where pod anti-affinity becomes useful. And notice what we are doing here. We are not just writing YAML. We are telling Kubernetes, this is how I want my application to behave. That's engineering. And now you can see why I started this video by talking about AI. Imagine an AI company running thousands of workloads. Some need GPUs, some needs a lot of memory, some needs fast storage, some needs to be close to other workloads, and some needs to stay away from other workloads. Some need to survive a node failure. Suddenly, scheduling becomes very important. And that's what you have been learning in my last videos. You are learning how to tell Kubernetes, put this workload here, keep this workload close to this one, keep these workloads apart, prefer this type of node, or require this type of node. These are real engineering decisions, and AI can help you write the YAML, but you need to understand why you are writing it. That's the difference. And that's why I'm building the CKA series. I'm not trying to teach you a list of commands that you memorize today and forget tomorrow. I want you to understand Kubernetes, because when you understand Kubernetes, you can use AI to learn faster. You can use AI to troubleshoot faster. You can use AI to write YAMLs faster. You can use AI to automate repetitive work. But you remain in control, and that's most important, because the goal isn't to compete with AI. The goal is to use AI better than the person next to you. And the way you do that is by understanding the technology underneath it. And that's why we are learning Linux, networking, cloud, containers, Kubernetes, cybersecurity, and eventually AI infrastructure. Now, let's go back to the question we started with. Will AI take your IT job? Honestly, some jobs will change. Some tasks will disappear. Some jobs will become smaller. And yes, some people will definitely lose their jobs. We shouldn't pretend otherwise. But I don't think the answer is to run away from technology. I think the answer is to get closer to it. Learn AI, learn Linux, learn networking, cloud, DevOps, learn cybersecurity, learn Kubernetes, and most importantly, understand how these systems actually work. Because the person who simply asks AI, give me the YAML, is very different from the engineer who understands the problem. Ask AI for help, looks at the answer, tests it, and says, yes, that is right. Or, nope, that's going to break my cluster. That second person is going to be extremely valuable. And maybe that's the future of IT. Not humans versus IT, not engineers versus IT, but engineers using AI to become dramatically more capable. AI doesn't have to be the thing that replaces you. It can be the thing that makes you better. And that's why I believe learning Kubernetes today is still incredibly valuable, because AI may write the YAML, but somebody still needs to understand the cluster, and that's what we are doing here. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to Cyber Ravindra, because here we don't just learn Kubernetes, we understand it. We use real-life examples to make the concept stick.